Payne Lindsey.
Payne, what's up, buddy?
What's up, man? How you doing?
Pretty good. I'm glad you're on. Not like you because you're really into it, but we've been talking a lot about aliens, spaceships.
Oh, yeah?
I mean, all this stuff that you really put your, education, knowledge, you go and investigate it. We just say crap. So I'm glad we have on somebody that actually knows a little bit about something here. Let me say this about Payne. High Strange premieres March 23rd, wherever you get your podcasts. Episodes drop weekly on Thursdays. You can binge the entire series now by subscribing to Tenderfoot Plus on Apple Podcasts. But when it comes to people I wanted to talk to, this is the guy. Now, first of all, Area 51, what the crap's out there? That's question one.
That's a good question. I actually went there, not inside, obviously, but I went about as close as you can get before you get shot.
Will they really shoot you if you go closer? Do you think you'll get shot?
They always the sign. I mean, according to the sign, you do. Mm-hmm. But I will say there was a guy, I think it was 2016, who did cross the line and he was shot and he was killed. So they do mean business about that. I went out there. I didn't see anything super cool other than a insane level of security that I've never seen before. So whatever they're doing there is either super high tech and secretive, or it's some secret golf course that senators use and they don't want you to know about it. I don't know.
Both would be fun to go to.
Yeah. It would be. Either one sounds cool.
What is your goal, Payne? If people are listening to you, what are they going to find out from you, or what's your goal to find out?
The goal is actually super simple. It's just posing the question, what is really up with these UFOs, right? Everyone knows what the term UFO is and means, and even though it stands for unidentified flying object, we know you mean spaceships, alien spaceships, right? All these stories over the years, all this new stuff in the news, what's really going on? And I feel like most documentaries about this subject require a little bit of tinfoil hat wearing to get all the way there. And so I wanted to make a different style story, just like my true crime stories, about a subject like this, and try to break the mold, break the stigma, and really kind of give it an objective look. What's true? What isn't? Where are we going from here? What should we expect next?
What do you think we're getting wrong as the general public when you say what isn't true? Because I read all the reports and it'll be spokesperson for the Pentagon says there's a mothership, or what are we reading? And then all of a sudden it gets blown up. What are we wrong about? And then I want to know what is right that we probably don't believe because we're scared to believe it.
I think because there's been so much in pop culture, the Steven Spielberg movies, all this stuff, Little Green Men, it's become like a trope, right? It's become almost like a joke. And so I think that what has gotten lost a little bit is that there is some real cold hard truth and evidence that supports the idea that there are intelligent crafts in our atmosphere, our airspace, that are not from the U.S. government, not from China, not from Russia, or any other adversary on Earth. And I think that gets lost in just all the mumbo jumbo, all the muddy waters that surround this topic as a whole. We kind of forgot that, hey, actually, but don't forget, the pyramid things are cool. All the conspiracy stuff is fun, but we're not talking about that. We're talking about that actual literal craft that this Navy pilot saw that changed his life forever. And they're flying the most advanced aircraft on Earth, and they don't know what it is.
Well, we say it could be China, it could be Russia. That's a very common thing to be said. And you said, it's not, or at least we don't think it is. But would we even really know, though, if they were good at hiding what they were doing? I mean, I'm sure we're doing the same thing. You feel like it's not another country, at least some of these that we see, it's not advanced testing that we're doing. You do think it's something that is bigger than we are.
So I think it's probably a little bit of everything. It would be naive for me to say that all of these sightings can't be those things, right? I bet some of them might be some advanced aircraft that we're testing or an adversary. But when the government itself comes out when there's, videos of the Tic Tac or the gimbal that, were published, declassified. And our government's basically saying they're not ours. They're either lying about that, which would be really crazier, to be honest, or if it is China or Russia, what a big mishap on our part. How did we miss that? How did we miss some amazing technological advancement that over 30 years, and you've kept it secret for that long? And if so, then why isn't Russia using that technology in Ukraine, right? If you have all this crazy capability of aircraft, or is it just not theirs? Is it just not from here? So I don't think it's every case is different, but there is a small percentage where they don't fit into any of those boxes, and there's very few boxes left for it to go in, and one of them is that it's from somewhere else.
Why?
Meaning not Earth.
Yeah, and in your opinion, why don't we ever have a good picture of this stuff?
Right? That's always a funny one. So why are they always weird, blurry, shaky videos, right? I mean, there's a couple things. I mean, one, there actually are some really good photos and videos of UFOs that really have not, to this day, have never really been entirely debunked. I like to focus on the ones that are from, the 70s, 80s, 90s that are on Kodak film, pre-Photoshop. They've sent the film to Kodak and they're saying, yeah, this is legit. This is from this time. It's not been altered. It's like there's too many ways to fake something these days. AI, all this stuff. It's like, what's real, what isn't anymore? So I totally get it. But you also have to think, if there is some intelligent life coming from some place that is so far away that we can't even see it with our own most advanced telescopes, that clearly tells us that they are significantly more advanced than us, right? And so is it really that crazy to think that they would know if someone has their phone out? And I'm not saying that that's the reason all the time, but like, we can tell if someone has their phone out today with different technology that the government has. So I think that part of the technology in any of these crafts would most likely be some sort of stealth awareness of, not getting caught, right?
So in your, saga to prove this right or wrong or tell a story, because you've done it in true crime, but now doing it with the unexplained aerial phenomenon, have you had your mind changed from what you believed when you started to today?
It really did change, because it really, at first, this was just, to be honest, a fun sounding idea to me. As a kid, I liked, Close Encounters. I liked E.T. I've always been a fan of the sci-fi genre, just like I like suspense stories and true crime, right? So it was just kind of a fun idea. Like, hey, what if I took this approach to this topic? What would happen? It wasn't really until I was about 6 months into doing this that I was kind of staring down cold hard evidence in so many different places that it just kind of slowly clicked with me that, damn, there's actually so much more here that is very real. It's almost annoyingly more real than I thought it was, or that I even wanted it to be. And once I got to that point, I kind of made it part of the podcast mission to deliver this information in a way that doesn't feel so heavy-handed and is very objective and leaves all options open, but presents to you the most compelling things that there are and really kind of leaves it up for you to decide. And that's really what it became.
Final 3 questions. Did you talk to anyone who you really couldn't doubt what they were saying because they came from such a place of legitimacy? And because they were who they are, you started, dang, maybe there is something to this that I didn't give the shot to.
Absolutely. I mean, there's a couple different cases, but there was a story called the Rendlesham Forest incident in 1980, and these are seasoned Air Force military officers that all experienced something that is, to this day, completely unexplainable and damn near impossible to debunk. And then talking to the Navy pilots who have experienced stuff in the last couple of years. You know, for a lot of these people, especially one of the radar specialists I talked to from this case in 2004, it changed his life forever. And when he went to his higher ups at the time to basically say, hey, I think like these things in the sky that we're seeing days in a row out here on the aircraft carrier are posing a safety of flight risk for our pilots. And because they just didn't know what they were, and there was such a stigma with UFOs and all that stuff, they basically just gaslit him for a decade, and he retired, you know, in frustration. And then a couple of years ago, he sees on the news videos of his exact experience, and the Pentagon coming out and saying, yeah, this happened, and we don't know what it is. And he's like, what? So those kind of stories make you wonder, you know, what's the motivation to be making something up? You are also someone who is of sound mind. And at a certain point, you get enough of these people, it starts to paint a picture of something is going on. I'm not saying that it's one thing or the other, but I think that we have to start keeping more of an open mind with other possibilities. And I think that the people who are higher up in the government have clearly started to think the same way, or they wouldn't have a UFO research program.
What do you think would happen if they came out today and said, yeah, there's something out there. We don't really know what it is, but we know for sure it's out there?
I think that they've sort of already in a soft way said that, just not as specifically, right? I think especially the younger generation's like, yeah, that's fine. Like, we kind of thought that anyway, don't care. I think that there's a mixed viewpoints when it comes to people's belief systems and how that fits into, you know, maybe their religion or their upbringing, all these different things. So it's more of a nuanced conversation and paradigm shifting for a lot of people. But I think that in our lifetime, that will be a known fact. And I think that the younger generation is totally ready to explore that and can compute that a little easier than maybe, you know, my grandparents could, right?
Well, Lunchbox here on the show is totally against the idea of anything being out there at all. I am not, obviously, but Lunchbox is. And so,
why is that?
Well, go ahead.
I just don't believe in it. Like, if they're going to come and get me, come and get me. Like, I just don't understand how people think there's aliens. Like, we would see them. We're the smartest people in the world. So, I mean, I don't understand it.
In the world, maybe this world. That's what he's saying. Like that there could be
This world.
Yes. What do you say to someone like that, or nothing at all? Are you just like, there's no way to convince someone?
I think that I get like why you may instinctually think or feel that way, but I think it could be sometimes a little bit small-minded. It's like we are just now seeing the end of our own galaxy for the first time with telescopes, but there are literally over 10 trillion more galaxies than this one. So mathematically speaking, just off the math itself, being close enough to a star to do this and have enough of this, it is likely that at least 10% of the universe is occupied by other species. So I think the whole us versus them mentality is a little, I guess, misguided, because the likelihood of there being something else is almost certain at this point. Now, the question of whether they've come here or not is very valid, right? Maybe they haven't, but I think that if they could come here from somewhere so far away that we literally can't even see it with our most advanced telescopes, then damn, they are a lot more advanced than we are, right?
Did that change your mind at all?
No, I mean, he says, oh, math. So he's probably the same math guy who's going to tell me my odds are I shouldn't play the lottery. I mean,
Yes,
I'm not
but
much
that's
of a,
the same.
No, you probably should play the lottery.
Yeah.
Yeah, see? There you go. All right, now I'm kind of believing this guy.
Okay, Payne, Lindsey, listen, high strange. It's going to be a great podcast if it's anything like his other work. And so he's going after unexplained aerial phenomena, trying to investigate what's going on, giving us more of an idea. And again, he's not a tinfoil hat wearer. At least not.
I'm really not.
Yeah.
Like, I'm really like an anti-conspiracy guy. I like went out of my way to make this a kind of like, we get it, UFOs, little green men, wink wink, like, okay, but like really, like, what's up though? And that's kind of the tone of the whole show. So you don't have to put on the tinfoil hat to follow along with this one.
Payne, good to talk to you. You guys, High Strange. Go search it. Go listen to it. Subscribe. You can also follow him at Payne Lindsey on Instagram. Payne, good luck, and I appreciate the time.
Thanks so much, guys. I appreciate it.
See you, buddy.